To get things kicked off, though, as I mentioned, we have actor and writer Philip Galinsky joining us. Philip, welcome to Conversations Live.
Oh, thank you for having me.
He now has a one-man stage play called Facebook Comes Alive to promote yourself and this new work with Facebook Comes Alive.
I think in this day and age, it's social media and it's social sharing is kind of where my brain space is. And what I mean by social sharing is that I've come in line with other people that are other artists and have other missions. There's a great website called Daily Food and Wine where they talk about what to eat, how to cook, simple things, this and that, and they are going to have a Facebook Fun Hour before the show where Daily Food and Wine will provide beverages and snacks and stuff, and people can it's communal. They come around, they talk about it. They can look at each other's Facebook page. They could post different recipes. So it's kind of bringing people together in different forms and different art forms, which is really cool. And then we get into the one man's journey through his Facebook life, which is mine. And the goal of the show is obviously to get a run and really do it up, kind of like a Leguizamo Ghetto Clown, something like that. But I also think that there's a formula here for other people that have interesting Facebooks to have their own show somewhere and talk about what they're posting and why they're posting.
For you to stay true to who Philip Galinsky is as you continue to build that brand and also to get in front of more eyeballs?
I've been asked this question a lot, and through the course of the show and how it's progressed, I really feel like the history of me and the documentation of me as it's been put up on Facebook can show a direct parallel of what was acceptable back then that's not acceptable now, which also means that things could change and things are very fluid. So it's such an interesting touch point. Like I use it as a touch point and a way to start a conversation and a debate, a healthy debate, not an argument, but a debate about, certain people were raised a certain way and they turned out this way. That doesn't mean they're wrong, doesn't mean they're right, it's just the way it was. And with Facebook, I find that when I do the live show, the younger audiences love it because they weren't raised that way and they can't believe it. Like, I used to wet the bed, and the day before my school pictures, my dad brought this thing home because the doctor had told him that I was a heavy sleeper. And so what I came home to was a metal sheet that had like jumper cables attached to a car battery. And he turned the thing on and the lights in the house dimmed. And basically he said to me, your brain doesn't know what your body's doing. So when you go to bed tonight and you start to pee, it's going to shock you and wake you up. So the night before school pictures, I did not sleep at all. And the next day, I had these huge raccoon eyes. And that picture is on Facebook, and everybody wants to know that story. They're like, oh my God, were you beaten as a child? No, I said, no. I just got, shocked. That's, typical growing up. But it's stuff that people can understand or draw a parallel to, and also realize that no matter how you're raised, at some point there is a level in everybody's consciousness of common sense. And the intriguing thing about Facebook is that a picture can make you draw conclusions to your own common sense that might not be even why the picture was posted. I then do Facebook Comes Alive trivia, where I bring a person on stage and they can't see their Facebook, and then I ask them trivia about them and I, because they're obviously friends of mine on Facebook, and if they get the answers right, they get prizes and stuff like that. Like if I said, oh hey Cyrus, come on stage, and then I'd say, all right Cyrus, if you answer this question, how many mutual friends do we have? We will give you a bottle of champagne. And so the audience can see it because it's projected, but you can't.
Right. And
if you get it right, you know what? You win a prize. I have one quick story for you that will say where we're going, because there's certain times when you have an interaction with someone and then they'll post a picture to your Facebook to kind of remind you of that moment. So I took my nephew out to dinner, and he's 8 years old, and he puts on my Facebook page, he posts a picture of a sink. And this story will kind of tell you kind of where we're going in the future. So I've taken him out to dinner, and I'm like, look, we got to wash our hands. We can't, we got to go there in the restroom, wash our hands. We cannot just eat. So we get into the restroom. he starts jamming his hands under the sink, and nothing's happening. He's putting it right under the nozzle, and nothing's happening. He's like, Uncle Philip, this sink is broken. And I just turn the faucets on. And I was like, you don't even know that faucets work? I mean, this is how far we've gone, where everything is automated.
Right.
And
exactly.
so after that, when I told him the story about how I had to turn the faucets on, just like I had to walk up and turn a television on and change channels, and after that night, we had a great moment. And that night, he said, thank you for dinner, and he posted up a picture of a sink. And then he also posted up another one. He posted up one more. He posted up a picture of cursive writing, because they're not teaching cursive anymore. They're getting rid of it so that the kids at 8 years old can learn how to type. So any card he gets from his grandmother, I have to translate.
Those were the days, huh?
Right?
Those were the days.
Unbelievable.
It is amazing. And Philip, thank you so much for sharing. Again, the name of the play is Facebook Comes Alive, Philip Galinsky's one-man stage play. Philip, how can our listeners find out more information about you online?
The easiest way to do it is just become my friend on Facebook, Philip Galinsky, PhilipGalinsky. Now, I would give you my MySpace page or my Twitter page, but because the show's about Facebook, contractually, that's the only way you can get to me. I'm just kidding. Just go to Facebook. It's easy. It's easy.
Again, that's Philip Galinsky. You can find him there on Facebook. And, of course, as I've said, the name of the play is called Facebook Comes Alive. Philip, thank you so much.